we are finally fucking back. Boy,
we is back.
Business. My name is Vanessa, for those of you that don't know.
And I am Brian.
We have waited so long and too fucking long to get back on the fucking road with this show. However, today we do have a great topic for you guys, which I'm pretty sure you're going to love. And if you don't, we're going to persuade you to love it.
Oh, yes.
So, the topic is sex and communication. Today, in relationships, which is important. I shouldn't even word it like that. What do you guys find to be, how do you think we should word it?
I think directly that, what is more important? Is it sex or communication? When we're talking about initially when you're getting to know someone, getting to, to the point where you're in a relationship, like what's most important. Even, so we could talk about
how we gonna wrap this up?
Getting into a relationship and then also being in a relationship to define the differences between, to bring on a better understanding.
Okay. So we're going to put it like that. So we're not talking about the older days, because I know people love to be like, oh, well, back in it. We talk about now. We talk about dating, relationships, and situationships and how they correspond to today's day and age. Mm-hmm. Like, what do people put first? Do people automatically start communicating? Or is it like, oh my God, he looks so good or she looks so good, I just want to have sex with them? Like, what is that initial oomph to get people to, I guess, coincide in their little situationships or their dating?
Sex.
Listen, I think that sex is more important regardless. However, you do need to communicate with one another. That's great, but I still think sex is at the top of the list.
Yeah, so communication. So, like, to bring up the scenario that we were discussing about the young lady, I want you to tell the story because I don't remember verbatim how everything fell into place about
the girl who left her man because his sex was whack. It doesn't matter how well they were communicating. She was just like, listen, honey, this dick ain't good enough. He's not a safari. So she said, boop, on to the next.
Well, see, that's another topic.
But everybody is talking about Safari, so we just had to throw that in there just so y'all didn't think we weren't in the loop with the thing. So listen, y'all think these bitches are worried about communicating with Safari? Go on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, even MySpace. I'm pretty sure that bitch reactivated right now because Safari's breaking the internet with his thing. So communication is, which one is more important? So I'm kind of confused on where you are. Like, is it sex? So sex is more important. My topic
is what you think.
I think my point is sex is more important in a relationship. I'll tell you guys why after he tells you.
Okay, so for me, communication is more important because it alleviates the whole idea of when you're initially getting to know someone and you start off by talking and getting to know what that person like, what they don't like, what pet peeves, those interests, and you kind of, through communication, you kind of learn these things and can identify before you say opening up because once you intertwine those souls, it's over. Like, once you let that person into your body, like you lose the whole idea of, oh, I still want to get to know you, because now it's like I got to know your personal part and then wasn't talking about shit. So now I don't even want to know you. So I think that it's better to communicate so that you can determine, well, I don't think we should have sex. I think we should like kind of be friends. And I'm really being realistic. I mean, today that's my view. Tomorrow it may change because I might meet somebody and they might, sex might be first. So you just never know. But I honestly feel like if you communicate with people, you kind of get to know them, because it's something that a person is going to do that's going to irritate the crap out of you. Not always, but I just feel like if you communicate these things, you can determine, well, like, you're more like a friend to me. You're somebody that on a friend level where I can communicate with you as far as, let's go out to eat, let's go painting together.
You can still have sex and do all those things.
Yeah, you cannot have sex and just defined a friendship, a genuine friendship, where, well, we're talking about today, so, in society today. So that's kind of like,
that's what he feels is
yeah,
more important. He feels like if you communicate, you'll get your point across, everything will be great and roses. However,
and you have something to build on.
True, you do. However, I just feel now, people are worried about, they want it like a microwave. Everything is fast and on the road and ready. People just want what they want. And I just feel like a lot of times now, people don't stop to say like, oh, how are you? What you doing? The first thing, oh, you up? You get that late night text, oh, what you doing? You up? Can I come over? I just feel like sex is more important because people dwell on sex. Sex sells. How many women haven't broken up with somebody or cheated on whatever or complained to their husbands or always in a group complaining to their friends, oh, my husband doesn't do this and my husband doesn't do that, or, oh, my boyfriend, he's a great guy, but there's always a but. And it's because people aren't worried about communicating. They're worried about the physical. They want that physical attraction. When you have sex with someone, like you just.
So is it a physical, spiritual, or mental? Like what defines what really actually makes you attracted to somebody? Just in general, what do you think makes people attracted? You think it's physical?
When you first see someone, that's all you have. You don't have a slate, but like that's a clean slate. So the first thing that you see is the face. So that attracts you.
That's not what attracts some people. Some people don't care what you look like. Like, not saying that they don't care completely, but like it's not about what you look. It's about how you think. Like it's about what you think, where you are in your mental space.
You won't know how the person thinks if you're just looking at them. Like if you're walking down the street, you see a guy, the first thing that you say is, oh, he's cute. Or if you see a girl, you're like, oh, she's cute. So then...
But I don't think everybody looks for that. I don't think everybody is saying...
So when you see somebody down the street, you're like, damn.
Well, we're talking about me now, specifically. Yes, I am a physical person.
No.
me, but that's not like holy. I guess because I talk to so many different people and get different perspectives. So sometimes I do, you kind of like body language and stuff like that, and kind of can identify with somebody like telling a lie. Like,
but even then, you had to start. You had to see the person, right? So you had to see the person. So your initial thing that attracted you to them was their looks. So then you're like, oh, okay, they look good. Now you're like, okay, let me see what this person is about. Now you walk up to them, and however you interact with them, however you talk to them, whatever you say, then you engage in a conversation. But that first initial thing that you see of someone is their looks.
The reason why I say it's not always a physical, because even if somebody sees, if they take an interest in somebody, sometimes you don't actually look at the person. So say like you're in a bookstore or anywhere, just like in the store, and you overhear somebody having a conversation. So you're not actually looking at them, but you hear them talking and they're having like an intellectual conversation and they're saying things that pique your interest. So now I feel like that's mental, because before you even acknowledge them, you've heard what they said.
So what if all right, so now you come across the book, you walk your ass around and you like, oh, I want to see who this person is talking, and then you look at them.
Yeah, but then it's not a look, but you're attracted to mentally what they said, like the intellectual conversation that you heard them engaging in. So now it's moving past the fact of like, I'm not even attracted to you physically. I'm attracted to how stimulating you made me feel, like just by hearing you in a conversation.
So what if that doesn't carry over to you? So like, let's say the conversation was because they're comfortable with that person. Now you walk up to this person and you think like, wow, this person's so great. Their conversation and their mindset is like so intriguing. You walk up to them and you start speaking to them and they like don't have a lick of word to say to you.
And that's why communication is important. I just want to put that out there.
I just feel, and I know for a fact that a lot of times people want to communicate. I think that's the main thing. People do want to communicate. They just don't know how.
Yes.
And that's what really gets people caught up in the physical, because a lot of times people stay in a relationship or they date someone or they end up talking to someone, however they do it, because of sex. Like, that builds, I guess, a connection, and you're just like, okay, well, if I have sex with them, we could worry about all the logistics later. Like, we could worry about what we're going to do later. Because what do people do? They have sex, and what's the next question to fly out their mouth a few days later once they start thinking about, you know, what just went down. They're like, damn, I really want to ask him or her, what are we now? That's a predominant woman question. I know that might sound sexist, but it's true. A lot of times we do have sex with men, and the next thing is like, oh, so what the fuck are we? I just gave him a piece of me, so why he can't give me a piece of him?
So, because it goes from, and I'm going to say this, but I'm going to be on, like, I'm not going to be defensive, but it is kind of that's generally how it seems to fall, that initially it's like, oh no, I just want somebody I can be cool with. We ain't got to put no title on it. We just going to be cool. We're going to have fun. We're going to go out and have a good time. And then as soon as those souls intertwine, and it's like a floodgate that open up, and now, like you said, I've given you a piece of me. However, in defense of men, because women think men are slow.
Because they are, a lot of times.
I'll agree to disagree. But when it comes to this, because men know how to get women in their emotions, and women are very emotional creatures. So I think with that, what happens is women say all this stuff about, but it's so easy nowadays to get a woman to sleep with you or go on a date with you. Like, not all women are like that, but women say, you spill this whole little line of like, let's just be cool, we ain't gotta put no title on it, thinking that that's gonna make him say something different. So then you have him saying, you know, just going with the flow of what you said naturally, like you said this was gonna be cool, so then you get King Ding Dong. And then now you want to be married with 2 kids, a White House, a picket fence,
and everything.
A
you
dog,
want the whole 9. But that's because sex is so important. Sex will make you feel like something is great when it's really not. Because we know too many people right now who are having good sex, but they're in toxic ass relationships because they are so worried about the physical.
But some people thrive off toxic, like.
That doesn't make
How
it right,
many
by the
people
way.
do you know that are in relationships that's having good fucking sex and they ain't going nowhere? They complain. They call you complaining all the time. And you get so tired of it. Like,
but there are some people that I do know that aren't in relationships anymore because the sex is horrible. Because the sex wasn't satisfying them, or the sex wasn't enough, or the size wasn't enough. And
so then what happens? They leave this person because the sex was horrible, and they go over here with this person that
the sex is
like
good,
laying it down, putting it down, flipping it over, rubbing it, snapping it, jacking it, you know, doing all this stuff. So what happens?
Now I ain't say they're looking for happiness. Just because they might
feel
a
moment.
They might feel like they're happy. Lust will make you feel like you are worth everything and then some. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy while you're doing it. You're just looking for that initial, you're just looking for that, how do I word it? You're just looking for that thrill. You're looking for what you didn't have in your relationship that you just left. You just found a guy who's going to lay it down on you. You found a guy that's going to eat you out the right way. Do
from
this
the bike.
Hey, he's going to do whatever at the time because you just left this relationship and you're just like, hold up, he's doing the shit that my old man didn't do. So fuck it, we're having fun
but now it's. Until what?
Until you tell his ass, oh, what are we? And he gonna be like, hold up, bitch. I thought we was just having
So sex. Now you back at square one, because now you ain't got, well, maybe you can go back to the one with the little ding dong.
You could, but.
I mean, well, no, because they might move on.
And if he moved on, then your ass gotta move on now too. Again, now you moving on to the next dick. Now you down to 5 bodies in a year, and then you wondering and contemplating, drinking that pint of Henny, saying, "Oh my God,
anything is possible."
And anything did go.
but like no, but then okay. So when you have that situation where you have a person that's messing with somebody, and that relationship was not necessarily about sex. That was more so of building on something. So why would a person stay in a relationship with somebody if they have good communication but the sex is poor? But then you leave somebody because you saying like I want great sex, but then you also want this person to communicate with you. So now you in a hard place because now you having great sex. You having great sex, but then there lacks all those other parts of the relationship that you really wanted. People are afraid to say what they really want, and they really want somebody that's going to communicate and have great sex. But in order for even if somebody
but how many
everybody's not a safari. Everybody's not a safari. So this is my thing. Like it's a boundary. Like you have to. Well, not necessarily a boundary. Well, you have to set boundaries for yourself, but also you have to have a balance. That's
how many
my B words got twisted up. But a balance. You have to have a balance.
But how many people do we know that actually have a balanced relationship, like where they have great communication?
What is a relationship?
What is a relationship? A relationship is something, it's supposed to be about commitment. It's supposed to be where you don't compromise, where it's just you two, you're willing to do. And if you really love someone, you just like settle down with them.
What is love?
Love is whatever you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's definition of love is different.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember us asking a question. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, it's okay.
About like what is communication. So to see the different forms of communication, I think that that's kind of where a gap is, because everybody has you just said, like, everybody, love is what you want it to be. Like, everybody has a different explanation. So getting somebody to understand how you feel about different components of a relationship or communication or sex, because I can love sex all day.
Okay.
And I can try to, but that's my thing. I try to communicate what I want because I've come from just going with the flow.
But since you're a guy, so you know that guys, once you tell them like, oh, I don't really like it that way, what do guys do? They get defensive.
They normally get hurt and don't know how to handle that. But that's not all guys though. We can't generalize that. What we talking about?
But we generalize the sex and communication right now, so we have to put people in not a box, but more so like a category. Like, for example, earlier you said women are like emotional creatures. Mm-hmm. You boxed us, so it's wrong to box y'all.
Okay, slap me on the red in my face, but still.
I just feel like sex is so important. Like, you can't. I don't know.
After you communicate.
You can communicate while you're having sex. Okay.
But what happens when you communicate when you have sex? Because you regret it after the fact, after you done did it.
Listen, I didn't say you was communicating right. I just said you had to communicate, okay? So whatever you saying, it don't matter. Because it felt good at the time, okay?
Hit it from the back. Harder.
Oh, wait. Did you just... No, never mind.
Okay. Yeah.
But sex at the end of the day will make you feel like $1 million, whether it's from the back, on top, the side, in the sky, on the air. It doesn't even matter. It just
floating.
Just everywhere. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I just feel strongly about sex. Like, I couldn't be with someone if our sex wasn't great. Because a lot of times we worry about communication later. So you can't really fix sex very often, because guys are very emotional when you tell them, oh, well, you're not doing it right. And I need you to do it like this. They start looking at you, and then the communication's out the window. So, like, let's say you did tell your significant... Let's say you had a very strong communication-based relationship, right? Mm-hmm. So now you get into the sexual part. And then you find out, like, damn, he really fucking ass at sex. And then you just like, we're just great together. We could talk about whatever. We could communicate. It's whatever. So I'm going to just go tell Bae or whatever you call your significant... I'm going to just go tell him that his dick game is trash. Not in those words. You're just like, you approach him very nicely, very calm. You're just like, oh, how about we try this? Because I prefer it like this. Then he's like, oh, wait, you wasn't saying that when you was moaning. No, because I didn't want to hurt your feelings in the middle of sex and be like, your shit's trash. Like, who does that? You still gonna moan. You have a dick inside of you. Who not gonna moan? Even if it was like this, you gonna pretend. You gonna do something. So at that point,
you ladies are good at pretending.
Now
I've heard many stories about pretend. So I try not, and it's always interesting when I see the person after that because I communicate with
the guy or the girl.
Yeah, like the guy. So it's kind of like I'm embarrassed for.
That's a walk of shame.
I'm embarrassed for them because I'm like, ooh,
child,
trash. Well, I mean, don't nobody stop telling me stories, but I'm just like, I just feel so bad. But I try to still, make sure that I'm respectful and cordial with people. But just give me the opportunity. Don't
get smart.
Don't shame me, baby.
Because I'm gonna let you know that one time you was hitting Monica.
One time my friend said. My friend said.
Okay.
But I try not to go there. I've grown just a little, slightly. However, I still can communicate.
I don't like to be the bigger person. I like to be snatched
and laid.
My small
yeah, but I still honestly believe that communicating with so I still feel like communicating with whoever the person is that you decide to date, that it really helps getting over those roadblocks.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not getting over the roadblocks, but working towards building something.
Okay.
just discussing how you feel and what you like. Again, like what you like, what you don't like. Because me explaining it to you, if we're dating and I'm telling you like, hey Vanessa, I'm not the type of person that like going to the movies. And you're like, oh, the movies is my favorite space. I use it because I love going to the movies. And usually when I talk to people, they're like, I really don't like going to the movies. And I'm like, well, shit.
Bye, bitch.
All right.
Take it for one.
Yeah, so like for me, it's if I define, I'm more of the type of person where I'm good at compromising. I can compromise pretty much about anything. But now when you try to like, feel like you gonna burn me and get over on me, then that's when like a whole different side of me start coming out. And everybody just, I'm very nice. Yes, I am very nice. I'm very pleasant. However,
even though he didn't pick up my phone call.
Yeah, as well. We'll handle that later. But I just think that overall, in general, when you stated about people, we both stated about people wanting to be able to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
A whole lot of other issues start coming into play about that. But again, the defining what communication actually really means and making sure you understand that. And another thing about the whole sex thing, when you just jumping into having random sex, and then now you scared because guess what happens? Either you're gonna think you're pregnant or you need to go to the clinic. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I just think that stuff, that's important.
It's important, but people don't think about it while they're doing it. The first, like I'm telling you, sex is it's a monster. It like consumes you so much that you're not worried about the big things until afterwards, maybe the next day or like that same week you start to
can, with communication, you can work around all of that. If you just communicate, yes, people do lie.
Oh, I was about to get there. I was about to say,
people do lie and say, no, I ain't got nothing. But then there is those that's like, I'm gonna just go ahead and say this because we really do need to talk about this, and we're going to talk about this in a later topic. However, I think if we can address it and bring awareness
to what?
To the fact that having random sex, like that's not. You need to talk about that.
What if like you're dating? Like what if you're just like in a situation?
But we just talk about it in this day and age. There's like it's situationship. It's not.
Yeah, that is true. So many people are in situationships, and like now they just
in like
hop
the
onto
first
the sex.
week or two, like you in.
So situationships don't come with communications. Communications. Child, you heard that? It doesn't come with communication. It comes with sex. Like, you're not looking, for example, earlier you discussed how people, they just want someone to hang with and go out with, more of a friend. You joke around with your friends. Yeah, you talk with your friends, but like, you don't have sex with your friends.
In my mind, I'm trying to wrap around the fact that there is a form of communication.
It's a different form. It's not the form where you're getting to know someone.
Where you're verbally speaking.
It's not like...
you sort of kind of...
Not like in an intimate way.
Well, not in an intimate way. So
intimately, like where you get up to sex.
So it's a difference between sex, fucking, and making love.
Yeah. But right. People not worried that they listen. When people just
so
you just having sex.
Some fucking. People is fucking.
Are you fucking? And you feel like you're making love until you ask him, what are we? And he hit you with the, hold up now, bitch. He hit you with the,
damn on it
is. Okay? So, listen, at the end of the day, ladies, just build the foundation. Yes, communication is more important when you're building up to something. But do you guys really do that? Like, do a lot of people really build up to have like a great relationship?
Who want to be out here? That's the lie. That is a lie. I feel like that is a lie.
What?
Because
what's a lie?
I tell that lie sometimes. Like, I don't want to be with nobody, and it's not that it's just that people don't know how to communicate. And
they don't know what they want, so they jump right into having sex because they know they want sex.
I'm not that person.
We're not talking about Holy Brian. We talking about Dirty Brian.
Well, I'm just saying, like in real time, I would like to be in a relationship, but when you constantly keep meeting people that are like,
so what do you want from your relationship?
Empty.
Since you want a relationship, what do you want from it? What's at the top of the list?
See, I try not to have expectations because when you have expectations and people don't meet them, you're
forget all that good jazz. What you want from the relationship?
I need somebody that's the opposite of me. I need somebody that like to stay in the house and I go out and you okay. We can go out together sometimes, but like we don't always have to go out together. We have that time where like opposites attract. I believe that. I believe opposites do attract.
Do.
So if I want to go out all the time, that's my life. Anybody that know me know that I like to have a good time. I like to go out. I'm not being selfish because I share pretty much everything. But like somebody that I'm in a relationship, first of all, we don't even have to live together.
Oh, we ain't even talking about living. I just want to know what you want from the relationship. What's that? Okay, the top. Let's do your top three. What do you need from a relationship? Just your top three.
I would say I need honesty.
Mm-hmm.
That's most important. No, let me rewind. Communication, number one.
You seen how he didn't put it at the top, so it must have not.
Well, it was going to fall in the first three in the first place. Communication. And so I would just put communication and honesty in kind of like the same little...
So more so respect. Because if you respect someone, you'll communicate with them and you'll be honest and
trustworthy. I'm gonna put all that falls under communicate, that umbrella of communication.
Okay.
So I would say communication, financial stability. I definitely need somebody that's like
a sugar daddy.
Well, not necessarily. Shit happens in life. And it just so happens. I rolled past Sally the other day, but anyway, communication, financial stability,
and what else?
Not for the sake of taking care of me, because I don't need nobody to take care of me. I just want to put that out there.
I just don't want to go on no fucking 2 for 2 date. Okay, don't take me to Dunkin' Donuts. So have a good.
But what's wrong with that? Okay, financial stability. Communications, and I would say
sex.
Lastly,
sex.
That would be last.
But it's still the top three.
It's not the most important.
If it wasn't the most important, it would have been.
I'll move it down to 4.
So I'll replace 3. It was 3.
I'll replace 3.
People be acting so shady, so shady.
I'll replace 3 with, something like integrity or something. Oh, that fell under others. I'm just trying to move sex out the way.
Sex.
That's a non-factor.
Anyways, sex is alright. So if it's not number one for people, it's still your top three. So if you don't have the top three, what do you really have? What are you going to build on if you don't have that top three? Sex is like the thumb of the relationship. And when I say that, I say this. You can't grasp, you can still grasp shit with these 4 fingers, correct? You can still hold it. Still not as strong as a grip when you go like this. You can grab so much more when you have all 5. Because the thumb is the most important finger that you have. So if you don't have this...
But communication is in the middle.
Child. And what is the middle finger? It means fuck you, so we fucking, okay? So he used the wrong finger on that. But I just think it's so...
The thumb is really communication. But
the thumb is sex, okay? Everybody knows without this, none of this matters. When you have this matters. That's how it always goes. If you have a...
That's backwards, though.
How?
That's backwards. Like, you have to communicate to be able to do all those things. To have sex, to date, situation, like whatever it is, you have to be able to communicate to do any of that. Now, we never said whether the communication was positive or negative.
But we won't put it in a positive. You gotta have, in order to get the sex, the communication, which is next, has to be good. Because without sex, there's no good communication. Without no good communication, there's no sex. So,
hand in hand.
You need, but essentially,
you need communication and sex.
How many of y'all don't have a thumb? I'll wait.
I mean, it's a lot of thumbs out there.
So that means there's a lot of people having sex or fucking. So whether it's this or this, somebody is out there fucking, okay? Like, I mean... At the end of the day, we all know in order to have a healthy relationship, we do have to communicate. And in order to communicate, that's when we build on to the sex and all the other things. A lot of times in this day and age, the problem is we focus so much on sex that we forget about the importance of communicating, being honest, being trustworthy. We just go off of that rather than communicating what our likes are or what our needs are in the beginning. We just jump into the physical rather than the mental, emotional. And I just feel like that diminishes the value of the relationship at that point. Because with communication in all actuality, you have nothing. So, with that being said.
Well, I just want to say, you're going to wrap up and just like a little shout out after we...
No, I want to hear about this, why this is your...
communication. So I think that communication is is the glue that holds all the other whatever. It holds everything together. So you have to communicate in order to have anything, whether it's a good communication or bad communication. You are communicating. So in order to have a situationship, let's put this out here: not responding is communicating. Because it's basically saying, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you got to say.
Okay, that's true.
It's communicating. So you just have to pay attention to the signs because they're always there. Subliminally, directly. You just have to pay attention to the signs and, stop ignoring them.
That's the problem. Stop ignoring those signs. If he stopped hitting you back after y'all have sex, guess what he wanted? Sex, okay?
He got it after you done said, I just want to be friends. And then you let him in.
And guess what?
And you asked that infamous question, what are we?
You don't give a dog.
Now you ain't got nothing.
Okay.
Until the next time you decide that I just want to have sex. And you keep putting yourself in that situation. And
you
that's his
form one bitch that's getting
that's his form of communication of
tired.
saying, keep a knocking and you let me come in. Knock, knock.
And bitch,
so, yeah.
He came in and out. That's what it was.
And y'all gotta stop having sex without condoms. Y'all gotta stop that.
We seen the videos.
Y'all really gotta stop that.
Y'all know what video we talking about.
When I say stop that, you gotta stop that. If it's not if y'all not agreeing to continue, because it's
or if it's
up.
a one night stand, put on a willy, and make it silly. Stop having one night stands with no condom, because that's how y'all end up with all these crazy shits, and then y'all looking at the next person like, how? Who said that?
End up with these babies that
y'all don't want. Y'all didn't even want the baby.
Y'all don't want.
And then y'all don't want the HIV. Y'all don't want the chlamydia. Y'all don't want the gonorrhea. These aren't your best friends. Y'all need real friends.
Yeah, I'm not going to, I have been young and dumb before. I've grown. I've grown a lot. I've grown a lot in that department. However, I've learned my lesson. So, we just have to take care of each other. We have to be mindful, and we have to, just like you communicate with your friends, you can communicate with the person you want to be. Don't get so shook up that you get so boggled down into sex that you don't communicate how you feel, or it's not that you don't communicate, but you don't communicate in a respectful way. You don't have to get all like physical to communicate with somebody how you feel. I've been down that road as well. And I found out that it was a whole waste of time and energy to, even indulge in that, and kind of lost myself. But however,
besides that,
yes,
right?
I have found a greater me,
and he found a way.
It's still improving, but But
initially, he did think that the sex was more important. So, like, I just feel like a lot of people think that. Like, we just gotta wrap it back up where people just, they just.
Well, I'm grown now, and communication is important.
That should be a next topic.
I'm grown
being
now.
Grown and knowing what you
want.
What
is being grown?
Me, okay? I'm grown. But, like I was saying before, sex sells, baby. That's what it is. Sex sells. So, whether you want to communicate or not, whether it's good or bad, people are just going to jump right into it and then worry about all of the other shit later on. And then that's when they get in this fucking loophole of, oh, well, just like you said, the two souls went like this, and now they standing here, and then they gonna grow like this because they didn't specify what they wanted initially. They just jumped right in and had the sex, and boom. Now y'all don't got no substance to your relationship. Boom. That's gonna be my ad.
Now you fucked.
Literally. But, guys, every week we're going to have new topics. Mm-hmm. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure that y'all drop it down below. And make sure that y'all tune in. And make sure that y'all follow us on our Instagram, which is ontheedge_1. And it will be on our screen at the end with all our information. So just, it's our first show. Just be gentle on us. We coming right back in. We rolling back in with the punches. And we just gotta get our shit back together like how we used to be popping. Hey. So don't be too hard on this first show, okay? That's all I'm saying. Just cut us a little bit of slack until we get better with the Bizak. I thought I did something.
And I want to say shout out Happy Black History Month.
Yes.
It is the 28th. Today is the last day of the month. And I just want to say Happy Black History Month. Let's make it Happy Black History Year. Let's just not celebrate this month. I know a lot of people are, moving towards that. And also, shout out to the movie Black Panther. Hey. The director, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's from South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina. Shout out to South Carolina. Shout out. Wakanda forever.
Hey.
So yeah, that's major. And just shout out to everybody just for living your best life.
And giving us support. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time of day for watching our show. That's really appreciated. Like, we really do. So just keep tuning into us. We're going to get a steamer. Because I know y'all going to be in the comments talking about, oh, what a background wrinkly.
They could have ironed their skirt.
Okay. Well, look.
But we just pointed it out for you, and it got a little green right there.
So we pointed it out because before one of y'all pointed out, we're going to do it for you.
Just shed a little light on it.
Okay. And we got a lot of light. Yes. The lighting is magnificent.
Yes.
Make me feel like a new bitch.
Oh, yes.
Dang.
Yes.
Not me, bitch, because I'm broke.
Thank you.
But
Okay.
we will be back every Wednesday. Our videos are posting every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So next week's topic, you just have to tune in and see what it is. And if you have any suggestions on what we should or what we shouldn't talk about, make sure that you drop it in on our Instagram, on our DM, or in the comments below.
And we probably still gonna talk about it anyway. So.
Hey, that's true. Whether we just gonna
we
be
on
here.
the edge, baby.
Okay,
of nothing.
We gonna be here whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, then don't tune in. But bad publicity is better than no publicity. Okay,
Hello.
bitches? Bye-bye. Okay.